And I do appreciate a lot of your sentiments and a lot of the comments. I agree with you. The president is responsible for foreign policy, and there is no debate on that whatsoever. President Biden's responsible for the increase in Iranian aggression, for the defunding of many of the programs that were working, for Russia's continual focus whenever he wouldn't actually authorize lethal aid. It was President Trump who actually authorized lethal aid for the Ukrainians. It was President Biden who actually delisted the Houthi rebels that's disrupted 12% of global trade.
Are we extending
And
time for debate?
I'm happy to.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, October 7th in Israel would not have occurred under President Trump because there wouldn't have been $10 billion in unfrozen fungible assets, or was it now 1.7 billion barrels per day. Under President Trump, it was 500,000 barrels per day. When you talk about the illicit oil and ghost ships that are going. And look, I'm happy to have foreign policy discussions. We can go as far back into the Ottoman Empire expansion from Suleiman all the way up to 2011 when we talk about the Arab Spring and uprisings. I spent 10 plus years. It'd be a little bit long hearing. But I spent over 10 years in the Middle East, deployed in multiple locations. Foreign policy I do care about. But what I also care about is the strength of the State Department, same way I care about the strength of the armed services, which I know you do as well. And when I talk about, and Mr. Hankinson said it correctly, I don't care what my heart surgeon looks like. I care about whether or not he or she is the best at what she does. So when you say that if we only base it on merit, that's a mistake. I disagree. I think having the best and the brightest, regardless of what they look like, is the only thing that should matter.
So I appreciate that. There was a time when merit was defined as, did you have an Ivy League education? To get that Ivy League education, you had to come from the prep schools of the East Coast. Right? Having the experiences, if I had more time to talk to the witnesses, I would ask the ambassador why it's important that we have people who can relate to the experiences and perspectives of the nations we are sending them to represent our nation.
And by the way, happy to give a second round of questioning should you want to ask that.
I'll wait. I'm here.
At this time, I'd like to acknowledge my good friend, our ranking member, Representative Moskowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in fairness to the chairman, he is by himself here, so he is pulling. He's
yeah,
doing,
but the good thing is that there was 9 of you. It might be a fair fight.
okay. He's pulling the duty of his whole committee. So